are live. Welcome everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Real quick, if you guys can hear me okay, please put a 1 in the chat if you can. Let me make sure my settings are all good here. Alright, perfect. Okay. Alright, welcome. It's been a crazy weekend and sadly a terrible tragic case with the Madeline Soto that we have been covering. And that's what we're going to be covering today. Before we get started though, if you're new to the channel, welcome. I am Chris with Monsters Under Our Bed. We cover true crime, mystery to the missing. And we always like to give back by featuring missing people at the beginning of the show. So although we are going to be covering Madeline Soto, we're going to quickly feature a missing person case. And we do take requests. You can email me if you have a family member or a friend that went missing. This is someone I featured multiple times because it's coming up on her anniversary, and I'm going to be trying to reach out to the parents, and I may be doing a video on this case here. But this is Margaret K. Alana. She went by, I think, K. Turner. She went missing almost a year ago on March 10th. She was last seen in Tomball, Texas, near Decker Prairie Rose Hill Road. She was 27 years old when she went missing, 127 pounds, 5'4". Just to kind of show where she went missing. Let me just blow this up a little bit more. There we go. The map I have pulled up here is Texas, and the big city we got down here is Houston. Tomball, Texas is just kind of northwest of that. That is kind of the approximate area she was last seen. She was last seen wearing a red-pink dress, photoed here. I know that's kind of a bad quality. But if you have any information about her case, you can call 713-221-6000. All right, let's get into it. Let's see, let me get my folder back open here. So I did put a video out, Sunday, and it did amazing. Thank you to all that took the time to watch it and comment on that. I don't think I've done a video that hit over 100K in a long time, so I know it's kind of awesome. Unfortunately, it's under tragic circumstances covering cases like this. But if you're not familiar with it, we will do a quick recap and then get into today's show. So I'm going to go ahead and play the recap for Madeline Soto.
Out looking for a missing 13-year-old girl.
Now, if you see my video, this recap is part of that video. It's not the entire thing. It's just kind of a short, I think, 3-4 minute recap for anybody that's not familiar with it.
Sky Fox over the scene.
We want her home, and we will do anything to bring her back home.
We don't know where she can be. We're scared. We just want her home.
Are you, in a sense, blaming yourself?
Although we have not found Madeline, we are now confident that she is dead. So
she never made it to school after that. It's right next to the school. I don't know why she didn't make it. I don't know if something happened on her walk along the way or if she got taken, but she never made it.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody, where we cover true crime, mystery to the missing. This is Madeline Soto, a bright young girl who just turned 13 years old. Her birthday wish was to go live in the woods. That's right, something was off.
I don't believe so. We actually haven't gotten into a fight in like a few weeks, or arguments or anything like that. If anything, on Sunday, she celebrated her 13th birthday with my entire family, and she had the best day. She was so happy. She showed us all her gifts. She's just a happy girl, and she showed it on Sunday night when she went to bed. She was so happy. So, she had the best day.
Even though Madeline had a great birthday, the next day would become a mother's worst nightmare. On February 26, Madeline was allegedly dropped off at a church nearby her school by this guy, Stefan Stearns, the mother's boyfriend. He told people it was because she was embarrassed to be seen in his car. That day, the mother went to pick her child up from school. That's when she found out Madeline never showed up. This would spark a massive search for Soto.
A missing 13-year-old girl. Sky Fox over the scene just a short time ago. These folks are out searching in the area of Osprey Park. This is right near Hunters Creek. Authorities say 13-year-old Maddie Soto was last seen Monday, just one day after her birthday. She was dropped off for school that morning on Monday. She did not make it inside the school. Maddie may be wearing...
An interview was done with the mother, Jennifer Soto, and you could see her boyfriend, Stefan Stearns, lurking in the background, acting odd. Stefan and Jennifer had been in a relationship for several years. Stefan apparently had his realtor license, but also said he worked at Disney World. During an interview with law enforcement, Stefan Stearns told them he recently factory resetted his phone. This happened to be the same day that Madeline went missing. This would be a huge red flag, and law enforcement would end up retrieving deleted videos and photos. These videos and photos had CSAM, and even worse, apparently recent videos that showed Stearns committing heinous acts on Madeline Soto. Because this happened inside their home, they would end up arresting Stearns and turning Soto's home into a crime scene.
Unfortunate to say the least, Marlisa, Stefan Stearns has now been arrested for sexual battery and possession of child sexual abuse material. Stearns is the boyfriend of Maddie Soto's mother, Jen. He's also believed to be the last person to see Maddie Soto when he allegedly dropped her off at school on Monday. Maddie Soto was supposed to arrive.
On March 1st, the public learned some very tragic news. In a press conference, law enforcement claimed that Madeline was dead.
Heard the very devastating news that although we have not found Madeline, we are now confident that she is dead. So our efforts will be focused on recovering Madeline. Dozens and dozens.
So what really happened to poor Madeline that day? During the press conference, law enforcement claimed Madeline Soto was already dead, which suggests Stefan Stearns attacked and killed Soto sometime during the middle of the night or early that morning, and she may have been taken somewhere early that morning and killed somewhere else in Kissimmee.
She, at that time, you believe that she was, did she leave the house on her own?
So what I'll say is what I already said is that we believe he moved her body in those early morning hours, and all that is still under investigation.
Stearns was seen on video at 7:35 a.m. throwing away items like Soto's backpack and laptop in the dumpster at the complex where the family lives. Stefan is then seen on video again at 8:19, now with Soto's body in his car, and he's apparently returning back to the apartment complex. This could have been just after he pretended to take Soto to school. From here, it's unclear what he did next for a few hours, but he would eventually go and dispose of poor Soto's body sometime after 1 p.m. as Stearns' car would be spotted on a video near Old Hickory Tree Road. He would dump Soto's body just off this road here in a wooded area nearby. Afterwards, he would be spotted on surveillance camera nearby. Apparently, Stearns had to pull over and change a flat tire. Thanks to a local watching the press conference earlier that day, they were able to call in a tip, which led law enforcement to be able to recover Soto's body.
Okay, let me me turn this back up. Yeah, so that's just a little recap. That's from my video that I put out yesterday. But yeah, very tragic, and there's still so many unanswered questions. Oh, that's being weird. Just give me a second, guys. Let me fix that. One of them is, at least one of the big ones for me, is where was she, you know, what happened that night after her birthday? Something clearly happened between her getting home from her birthday party, which is at the condos, which we're going to talk about here in just a second. And sometime over that night or early morning, something happened. And then her body is now seen, you know, in his vehicle. Very odd. And so we're going to kind of go back to the timeline and break it down. But I'm going to play this video because for those that haven't seen this yet, these are sadly some of the last photos. Actually, these are the last photos taken of Madeline just before she would sadly be murdered. These were from her birthday party. And for those that may not know, these are, because I was kind of wondering where she had her birthday party. I was assuming it was at home, but it appears that is the case. And we'll play this video if you haven't seen it. It kind of cycles between her photos and then sadly where her memorial, you know, where they found her body. But with her in this dress, so I'm just going to pause it here. And if we pull up, you can see these big pond right here. And I'm just going to go pull up Google Maps real quick here. And so their condos that they were living in was here. It's the Vientiane Bay, I probably butchered that, condos here. And this whole area right here is the condos. Oops. And as you can see, here's this big pond. It's a beautiful place. Very beautiful. And it does appear to have two different entrances. You have the main entrance, which I think is also something very interesting. You have the main entrance here. And then there's actually a back entrance. Now, I don't know if on the front entrance, if there's cameras. I would think so, but I couldn't see them. But if we go back, and where is it? It's right here. Yeah. We go right here. Here's the back entrance, which I think is very interesting. And this is as far as I can zoom in, but it appears that there are security cameras. They could be, some of these could be lights, but it appears at least two of those could be one security camera for coming in and one coming out, which I think is interesting. Especially if there's only a set of cameras on the back entrance and not on the main. I would think there'd be on both, but anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute. But so yeah, these photos sadly are the last of Madeline, and these are from her birthday party. And then it seems like some are mixed with some family photos, but seemed real happy. So anyway, moving on to the timeline. So we're going to go and listen just to
discarding items.
The last few things that we know for sure, and then I built a timeline that shows like all the stuff that we know, and there's kind of some interesting time gaps between what Stefan did, and it makes me wonder if these were deliberate.
Laptop after his late
he's deaf.
We have video evidence that shows Stephen Stearns discarding items in a dumpster in that apartment complex in Kissimmee at 7:35 on Monday, February 26. Detectives later recovered Madeline's backpack and her school-issued laptop from that dumpster. At 8:19, we have evidence that shows Stephen Stearns returning to the complex and Madeline was visible in that vehicle, we believe she was already dead at that time.
At that time, you believe that she was, did she leave?
So clearly, one of the biggest questions is where was she actually murdered? Was it at the condos or was it somewhere else? And that's definitely one. That's definitely one of the biggest questions I have. And here's a reporter kind of asking that question.
The house on her own?
So what I'll say is what I already said is that we believe he moved her body in those early morning hours, and all that is still under investigation.
The mother is cooperating with the investigation?
Yes, we're talking to the mother, yes.
She's not considered a suspect?
So we're talking to the mother and all this. There's, to my knowledge, she's not a suspect in this case right now.
You had mentioned that he dropped some items in the dumpster. Did you recover those?
That's correct. So from the dumpster, we recovered her backpack and her school-issued laptop.
Sheriff, do we believe that I know that you're piecing things together with different portions of video. Is it the department's belief that she was killed at the house?
It's our belief that she was killed in Kissimmee and that he...
So that's interesting. The guy asked, do you think she was killed at the house? And I don't understand why they would need to withhold that information because they already got the perp. Obviously they would hold details if they hadn't, this person of interest is still out there. So they have the suspect, and I'm assuming part of the narrative, but it's interesting that he didn't say yes. So it kind of makes me wonder, did it happen somewhere else? Or maybe in the car, maybe he nabbed her up or something. I mean, who knows? But it's just kind of interesting that they didn't confirm that. They just said in Kissimmee. I'm just looking at chat. Yes, haven't heard. Yes, Chris, haven't heard anything about where, but I do believe it was in the home before 6 a.m. So something could, and it could still be. Maybe they just don't. Maybe they didn't know at that time, and that could be as well.
So that's why the Kissimmee Police Department is the lead investigators now.
As for messages that you said that Madeline might have sent about living in the woods.
Also, we will be going over, so holy cow, we almost got 1,000 people in here. Thank you guys so much. So if you're just tuning in, we were just kind of recapping. We're going to go over the timeline, and then we're going to kind of get into Stefan's background. There's been, some people going online kind of sharing stories. So I did nab some of that up. And then apparently he was a big Reddit user, so there's been a lot of people posting his Reddit stuff. I nabbed some of the stuff. There's a lot of it, but I did grab some of it. And then there's an interview with the grandmother. And I know I have quite a bit of bilingual speaking people in here, so if, especially Spanish, because it's in Spanish, the grandmother. So if anyone can translate it, I have a TikTok video. It's supposedly translated, but I know sometimes you can't always trust the translations because there is something that she says that I think is kind of interesting. I don't know if you guys have seen that, so we will play that video here in a bit, but we'll start with the timeline. Let me play it here for just a minute. So here I built the timeline that we know for sure. Oops, let me move this comment real quick. And so one of the time frames that we know is at 7:35, Stearns, so we have the birthday party the night before. She goes to bed. The mom was at work, and I've heard that she came home late or something like that, that she doesn't like work overnight. She just works evenings, from what I understand. And then came home late and then went to bed. And because she slept in, Stefan was the one to supposedly drop her off at school. That's what I've heard. So then we have what we know is at 7:35, Stearns is seen at the condo discarding her items. So there's no mention of body, but they say that he's seen throwing away her backpack, her school laptop. So we know at 7:35 we have that incident. And then the next thing we know, so at 8:19, he is now, Stephen Stearns is returning, not leaving, but returning to the condo with Madeline's body in there, which is visible. And I believe from that footage is how they were able to tell that she was sadly deceased. So that's interesting. So if we look at that, there is between the 7:35 and 8:19, that's a 44-minute window. So it's possible, I'm assuming she was already deceased. Something happened before 7:35, either late evening or early morning. And then I'm just wondering, did he move her body? Maybe it did actually happen in the house. And then he moved her body somewhere early over the night or early that morning before 7 a.m. Just in case he was afraid that the mother would wake up, and then maybe because she's normally the one that takes her to school. So it makes me wonder that he was worried that she may wake up and, take her to school. Maybe they talked about it the night before. So he knew that he was going to be the one taking her to school. I mean, that's just kind of speculation. But that's the only thing I could think of, is that he would move the body out of the house just in case the mother would, go in the room and find her or something. Moved her somewhere nearby, who knows. And then he wakes up, starts getting rid of the evidence, and then maybe has some kind of story to tell the mother if, she wakes up and she's gone. He could, say that she went and stayed at a friend's house, or, who knows. Or saw her wake up early and, whatever. But anyway, getting off track. So at 8:19, he's returning back with her body. And I think this was clearly done on purpose. And then, as I was saying, there is security cameras at the back. I'd assume they're the ones that are working. And I'm not sure about the front. Like I said, I can't tell. I don't know if anybody knows in the chat if the cameras are... I'm just going to try to back this out. So there's the condos here. It's a gated community, so I would think it's tough to tell. I see like lights up here and everything. You would think if they had cameras on the exit, they would have cameras on the entrance, but who knows. But anyway, so he's bringing her back in. So clearly he went somewhere and then brought her body back. And then this is very interesting timing because it's at 8:19 a.m. And then if we look at this, and I know it's probably hard for you guys to read this little, but this is taken from the probable cause affidavit, and I'll just read part of it because a good portion is redacted. But it says, an interview conducted with Stephen Stearns, who advised he picked up Madeline, dropped her off at the Methodist preschool, and then it gives the address, which was down the street from the school at 8:40. So apparently he told them that he dropped Madeline off at 8:40, which is interesting because if you look at the time between 8:19 and 8:40, so remember he's coming back at 8:19 with her body in the car. Clearly, I think it was done on purpose that, he probably slumped her body up to make it look like, she's ready. And so, if the mother was asleep the whole time, it would just look like, just in case maybe she was going to wake up, she'd be out in the car and he's, just going there to, make it look like, he's now going to take her from the home to the school, because at 8:40, it's about 15 minutes to the school, depending on the traffic and everything. So if you look at 8:20 to 8:40, that's like 20 minutes. So kind of interesting timing. So I think he definitely had this planned out. Unfortunately, the guy's an idiot and was caught on camera. But still interesting to know. And if for those that don't know, he still only has the 2 charges that we know of right now. He still has not been charged with her murder, which is crazy. So here is one of the photos they released of his car, which is very interesting. I wish we could get the unredacted version of this, because in this probable cause at the beginning, it talks about him mentioning that he dropped her off at 8:40, and then it mentions Hunters Creek Middle School begins at 9:30 a.m. And then from there it says, a license plate reader captioned Stefan's vehicle with Florida tag driving, and then unfortunately it's redacted. So I'm assuming it's going to give a time. Now I'm 99% sure, or not about 90% sure, where this photo is, for those that may not know. This photo is actually taken on the, gotta look it up here. 1 second, guys. This is actually taken. So if we did the directions to the school, this is the, what is this? The John Young Parkway. And as you can see, if you were to go from the house and go to the school is here, the church is right here. You would basically take this John Young Parkway, and if you look at it, it's got 4 lanes, kind of depending on where you're at, and then an island, and then kind of the same thing on the other side, more or less, kind of depending on where you're at. It looks like 3 lanes here. Actually, well, there's 5, but yeah, if you look at the photo, and I'll blow it up here in just a second, it matches. And you can see that this photo was taken from the license plate reader, because it's got the red, which actually it pulls the license plate number, and then like it's got it lit up right here. So he spotted. Now I'm not sure exactly like where on it. I was trying to look for the license plate reader, but I just didn't have enough time to. So I'm just wondering if this was him, and he might have had Madeline in the car at that time. I'm assuming so, and pretending to take her to school, but obviously never dropped her off. But if you look, you can tell that there's 4 lanes, and then an island, and then you can see cars on the other way. And this pretty much lines up. There's not a lot, too many details to go off of. At first, I thought this was a parking lot, but this is definitely like 4 or 5 lanes and an island. So I'm pretty sure this is off the John Way Parkway. J9 says, this is in my hood. I believe I'm in Orlando. Oh, right on. Yeah, I'm sure we got any locals that have any info. And if I get anything wrong, please correct me. But yeah, I thought that was kind of interesting. This photo, I'm 90% sure, was taken from the John Way Parkway, and this would have been him possibly pretending to take her to school, because it's mentioned right after what he told them in the probable cause that he took her at 8:40. It's very interesting that this is redacted too. But it's right after it talks about the school at 9:30. So I'm assuming, because it says 8:40 a.m., 9:30 a.m. So this would kind of go in chronological timeline. So kind of interesting. Just looking at chat here for a second. So we're going to move on. I think the next thing I have is... Oh, this is just some inside the condos. But coming up is a grandmother's interview. It's very short, but there's a couple of things she mentions very interesting. Oh, Mind of Monsters. We went down Saturday afternoon, drove the route. It is very, very busy area. Lots of home and businesses. Yeah, as a matter of fact, when I was looking up the route again today, it told me it was like 20 minutes from the home to school. And that's because I'm looking it up probably right now at around rush hour. Here's just some of the video. So I can see lights up there, but I can't tell if they're security cameras. Those look more like... And here is what it would look like inside. So here's an overview of the home. It's, I believe, a 3 or 4 bedroom, 2 bath. And these aren't the actual photos of inside the house. These are what they call, one of the showroom. So whenever, new renters come along, they always have like an apartment that's, furnished to kind of show what it looks like. But these are kind of what it looks like inside. Looks like 2-story building. I'm assuming the bedrooms are upstairs and everything is downstairs, living room, kitchen. And this is just kind of some of the pictures of the condominium. It's a beautiful condo. Got that pool, got the lake, or not the lake, the pond, tennis court, basketball. So coming up is an interview with grandmother. Let me pull this up here.
35 Stephanie Buffamati Old Hickory Tree Road. We're told Maddie Soto's by 35 that car. This will
okay.
Information about this case.
All right. So anyone that's bilingual or Spanish, if you guys want to translate.
For now, reporting live, Stephanie Buffamati, Fox 35 News.
So here's the translations down here. I'll play it once, and I'm not going to say things, because I know we got Geneva in here. I know she's helped me with translating before. But I'll play it. Maybe I'll play it in parts, play it and pause it.
Stephanie Buffamati, Fox 35 News.
Yo creo que ella no puede hacer eso. Ella es una niña como con muchos miedos.
So I'll pause it right there. So she says that the girl has, at least the translations say, she is like a little girl, she's a little girl with so many fears, so much, so she, and then it pauses there.
Tanto así.
She doesn't sleep alone and I don't think she can leave or run away home. She doesn't sleep alone, is what she says, which is very interesting. So I'm going to just let that play, and then I'll let you guys translate it.
Como con muchos miedos, tanto así que ella no duerme sola, y yo no creo que ella pueda irse de su casa.
Su abuela agregó que este domingo estuvieron celebrando su cumpleaños y que no notó ningún comportamiento que pudiese indicar planes de huir.
Ella estaba muy, muy feliz. Tuvo sus amiguitas de la escuela, que son 2 amiguitas. Estuvo muy bien, la pasó feliz.
She thinks the daughter has many fears. The biggest translation, Geneva, is I'm wondering, because she says that she doesn't think she can sleep alone, or mentions that she doesn't sleep alone, which is very interesting. So I'll play that again.
Como con muchos miedos, tanto así que ella no duerme sola.
So much so she doesn't sleep alone, and I don't think she could leave or run away from home, which is very interesting.
Yo no creo que ella pueda irse de su casa.
Su abuela agregó que este domingo estuvieron celebrando su cumpleaños y que no notó ningún comportamiento que pudiese indicar planes de huir.
She was very, very happy. So many fears that she doesn't sleep alone. This is the grandmother For those that are, this is the grandmother that supposedly had like a office nearby the school.
Estaba muy feliz. Tuvo sus amiguitas de la escuela, que son 2 amiguitas. Estuvo muy bien, la pasó feliz, contenta. Tomó.
I'm trying to pause it a little bit to let my translators, don't overwhelm them. Geneva says she didn't think she could run away. Okay. So it seems like most of the translation is pretty spot on.
Muchas fotos, abrazaba a su familia.
En casos como estos, cada minuto cuenta. Por lo que si conoce información que pudiese ayudar a dar con su paradero, es esencial que se comunique con la policía.
Okay, I'll play that one more time. It's just like 10-second clip. Just in case if there's anything you guys missed.
Yo creo que ella no puede hacer eso. Ella es una niña como con muchos miedos. Tanto así que ella no duerme sola. Y yo no creo que ella pueda irse de su casa.
Su abuela agregó que este domingo estuvieron celebrando su cumpleaños y que no notó ningún comportamiento que pudiese indicar planes de huir.
Ella estaba muy feliz. Tuvo sus amiguitas de la escuela, que son 2 amiguitas. Estuvo muy bien, la pasó feliz, contenta. Tomó muchas fotos, abrazaba a su familia.
En casos como estos, cada minuto cuenta. Por lo que si conoce información que pudiese ayudar a dar con su paradero, es esencial que se comunique con la policía.
No, it could be that maybe she's afraid to, like, doesn't have to be somebody in her bed, that she's afraid to sleep alone, like, be alone at the house. Could be what it is. Doesn't necessarily mean that she has to sleep alone. Somebody has to sleep with her, but I wonder if she's afraid, she can't be alone somewhere. That's kind of the more vibe I'm getting. But who knows? I'm just seeing mini pics at birthday said every moment missing counts. Yeah, talking about her missing. But yeah, it was kind of interesting that she did mention that she had a lot of fears. And then mentioning that she afraid doesn't sleep alone, but she did mention that after she mentions that she don't think she could run away or live in the woods. So I think mentioning that and with the woods would make me think, she's afraid to be alone, by herself. So if anyone has information, so that it was translated pretty good. Okay, I just wanted to make sure because I know sometimes the translations are not 1-to-1. So I know there was a lot of interviews, and I'm sure a lot of people have seen the interviews. I was going to play a little bit of the mother's interview, and then we're going to talk more about Stefan. We learned some more stuff about his background, which we'll get into here in just a bit. But I did want to play a little bit of this interview, which was interesting because the first interview we ever saw was the one where obviously she's talking, and then Stefan's in the background. But it appears that they did another interview around that same day with both of them, at separate interviews. And I find it very interesting that the mother is obviously, as any mother would be with a daughter missing, she is just bouncing. I'm going to play it right now.
Okay. So the first question is if I can have your first, your last name, and spell them both out for me.
Okay. Jennifer Soto.
Look at her.
JENNIFERSOTO.
Mother. Jennifer, tell me how you feel.
I just want to say, I know there's obviously from reading my comments from my video, a lot of people are not happy with the mother. I would just say if you can, just try to be respectful and try not to use very vulgar words. Just try to be professional with the comments. I do understand a lot of people are mad, and we try to refrain from talking about the victim's family. I will say I have been reading some stories, and I will say this is completely rumor until it's verified. And I don't know if we'll be able to verify it, but there has been talk that Madeline Soto had mentioned to her friends about the abuse that was going on. This guy has been in her life, we know, since she was 9 years old, since 2020, at least that long, because he did a Reddit post, which we'll look at later on, where Stefan, they did a project together, and she was 9 years old. So he's been in her life for at least 4 years. But I have been reading stuff, but obviously it's just unconfirmed stories at this point that Madeline had mentioned to her friends, and it had been known at school, and they do believe that family members were aware of something going on. But, like I said, I can't verify that. But anyway, I'm going to play the interview.
I feel like I can't breathe. All I keep thinking about is, where is she? Is she safe? Is she okay? But we're all a wreck. My entire family is a mess. We're just so worried.
When did you first realize, or when did you file a missing report?
We filed a missing report. We called the police at like 4:45 yesterday, 4:45 p.m. But she actually went missing.
Oh yeah.
Early that morning, around between 8:45 and 9 o'clock in the morning. She went missing. We had dropped her off close to the school. She wanted to walk the rest of the way. Sorry.
Fast forward. I don't think that's a parrot.
I'm not sure what I'm allowed to share.
You can share whatever you feel comfortable sharing. I know you had conversations with detectives. Not sure what that conversation is, but whichever you feel comfortable sharing, that we'll put the awareness out there.
Look at her shaking now.
She was spotted walking by the church, by the middle school, on the cameras. They saw her hang out in the parking lot for a little bit and then get up and leave. They didn't see a vehicle or anything else. They just saw her walk away.
No, that's...
around 9 a.m. heading towards the school. But she never made it.
Some said it's a parrot, but then someone... God, what was it? I know somebody's going to mention in the chat here in just a minute. But yeah, it's some device and not a parrot. Food dispenser. Yes, thank you. Automatic bird feeder. That's, yeah.
What has the school said? Have you given in contact with the school?
Yes. That they're doing everything they can. They've given me all their resources. The principal's called me. They've looked at their cameras. I don't think they've caught anything on the cameras is too far away from the sidewalk. Everything is too grainy, so they can't see specific faces. But
hopefully, knowing that, they should hopefully like beef up their security cameras all around schools, not just at school, for every school, for incidents like this.
They've looked. I'm just waiting to hear anything else from them.
Is this normal behavior?
Not at all.
To just not show up or call or text or anything?
Not at all, no. She, from time to time, she will leave her cell phone at home accidentally, and that's actually what happened yesterday. She left her phone at home. She went to school. But that happens from time to time. She's got ADHD, her memory. She's very forgetful. So yeah, there's no way to track her right now because the detectives don't have her phone. But this isn't normal behavior now.
really surprised that he didn't throw her phone away. I wonder if it was kind of like hidden somewhere where he couldn't find it. And hopefully maybe there's some stuff on there they can use against him. Who knows?
What was the last thing, I guess, the conversation that you two had, you and your daughter?
We spoke about her birthday party. She had a birthday party on Sunday. She had a great time. I couldn't make it because I was working. But she had an amazing time. She was so happy with all her gifts. I told her good night, and yeah, that was it. I wasn't the one who took her to school in the morning. That was my partner. But yeah.
And that struck me. I'm just gonna replay that. 'Cause, yeah, obviously we don't know, what's going on through her head, but the way she kind of pauses there right after mentioning that, and like I said, I usually try to really refrain from, going, especially after a mother, but I have seen different reports that obviously are completely unconfirmed, stories that the abuse had been going on for quite some time, and Madeline had mentioned it to her friends, and apparently these are unconfirmed rumors right now that the school had known, or at least the counselors, whatever, and I would assume that they would have contacted her. So, but I'm going to replay that one more time.
I told her good night, and yeah, that was it. I wasn't the one who took her to school in the morning. That was my partner. But yeah.
13?
She's 13 years old, yeah.
Yeah, the way she just kind of pauses there, really.
Madeline?
Madeline.
What are you thinking right now?
They did yeah.
In my heart, I feel like somebody took her. This isn't like her to just pick up and run away, or just not go to school. I don't know what to think. The friends' parents, you've contacted and went through every single person? Everyone that we know that she knows, we've contacted them all, reached out to them. The parents have gone out to search and look for her as well. And we haven't come up with anything yet.
I've seen a lot of posts on Facebook, Hunters Creek, rants and raves and what have you. Did people say that they were going to conduct some type of search party or anything?
A lot of people have asked me to volunteer, if there is one, if they can do one. I have people passing out flyers, going to every store in that vicinity, a gas station, church. I think people were being stopped in the street this morning in front of the school to see if they've seen anything, if they've heard anything. My family they're going all out right now.
Yeah, Casey Ann, she keeps disassociating. I can't imagine being in that position, and if she did know it to some degree or suspect, and it's all just coming in, and then of course she doesn't know, and I just can't imagine. But I mean, she cannot sit still. She's and I do that too, but obviously it's just nervous tics. But I mean, she is just bouncing, and yeah, it just does seem like she knows something.
Yeah.
I know as a mother, you have a lot is going on in your brain.
So much
to bring her back home. What have the law enforcement told you that you are able to share?
I mean, that they're doing the best they can. They've had detectives come out, interview us. They took a piece of her clothing for the canine dog to see if they can sniff her out. I'm not sure when that's being done.
That's interesting. So Stefan had already been interviewed by the police, and probably they would have had his phone. So at this time of this interview, because obviously they interview the mother and then they're going to interview Stefan, and so I'm assuming they have his phone, and of course, you know, he supposedly accidentally resetted his phone, and we're going to learn a little bit about his background. For those that may be coming in late, we are going to be talking about his background. But yeah, apparently he should be tech savvy, so an accidental... I think most people are tech savvy when it comes to their cell phones these days. But anyway, yeah, just thinking about that, they would have his phone and they'd be probably diving into it with, you know, and finding all that terrible stuff.
Do you have any inkling where she possibly could be? Like if you would say, okay, last time I went to work and came back, she was at James' house or Sabrina's house, and maybe I forgot to check that house, or she played at this park one week and maybe she went back there or something like that.
We've looked everywhere we could have thought, and anywhere she would have been. She would have known to wait for me at the school. But we did check where if she could have walked. My mom's office is close to the school. We checked there. We checked the walking paths that she could have taken. We've checked all of her friend's house. I think we've checked everywhere I could think of, honestly.
What do you think? Oh gosh.
I'm going to pause it there. Kelly Nix, thank you so much for becoming a member and supporting this channel. You are so awesome. Thank you so much. I think there's just a little bit more. I'm not going to really play his interview. I have that in my video if you want to check it out, and it's posted everywhere now. Maybe we'll look at the first part of it. Just to, you can see, I mean, obviously, when she's recalling a memory, her eyeballs are up. That's complete opposite when they interview Stefan. But, I mean, a lot of the times she is clearly looking up, recalling memories.
I just had to tip my tongue. What was she wearing?
She was last seen wearing a green hoodie, black shorts, white Crocs, a black JanSport backpack with gray hibiscus flowers on it.
Here's another thing. So she never got dressed for school that day. So those items, I'm assuming all those items that she was supposedly wearing would have had to come from Stefan. It's kind of interesting. So I wonder, did he throw those clothes away? Did they find those clothes that she was supposedly wearing? You know? Because obviously the only person who would have known what she was wearing supposedly for school would have been Stefan. So that information had to have come from him. So it does make me wonder, did he try to get rid of those clothes or hide them? Or, but yeah, just food for thought. Who else finds it odd? Mom believes she walked the rest of the way to school, but rode with him to from party where friends would see the car as well. Yeah, the whole car thing, it's stupid. Yeah, that makes no sense. I mean, if you look at where the school, I mean, you could still drop her off right in front of the school. It's still way back in there, and, you know, there's still the whole entire school parking lot. Yeah, obviously that just the flat out lie.
This is not like her.
Not at all.
To run away, an argument, anything like that to provoke her?
She's never done anything like this, no. And we haven't had any arguments recently to have this outcome.
What school?
Hunters Creek Middle School.
Tom, any questions?
No.
Is there anything that you think our viewers would need to know about the way you're feeling, The family's feeling. Madeline.
We are desperate for any answers, anything that you could do to help. I'm here for it. Just please, if you see my daughter, just please bring her home. I just hope you're okay, Maddie. I hope you're safe.
Yeah, so I've seen and heard that. I'd never seen the photo. But I did hear about that. So yeah, I'd assume she would have clothes on. So yeah, maybe that was what she was wearing. Yeah, I guess maybe before she went to bed, then put on clothes. And yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
I hope you're not hurt. I just hope she's okay.
When did you notice that she was missing? Because this was at the beginning of the morning.
She got dropped off in the morning. We did not notice until after school pickup at 4 o'clock when I went to go pick her up, and she wasn't at school.
So we're going in 24 hours now.
Yeah.
Just about.
Yeah.
Nothing.
No word. No text message. No messages anywhere from her. I've looked at all her social medias. I've looked at all her games she could have played with. Any app. No.
Okay, so I'm gonna fast forward. I think that's about it. And, yeah, there's the interview with the piece of dirt. I'm gonna use more descriptive words, but I can't. The monster. So we're gonna talk about his background. Just trying to get up to it here. That'd be right. Okay. All right, let me take a sip. For those who may not know some of his history, so apparently the father, Stefan's father, owned a had his own realtor business, and Stefan would work for his father off and on as a realtor. He had his realtor license. Stefan was caught in the past by a friend with kind of a shared folder on his computer that contained child explicit material, CSAM as we would call it. Very terrible stuff. Apparently, allegedly, because this is all coming from, secondhand, this is, can't confirm a lot of this stuff. The guy did sound, legit. But apparently, they said his mother paid off the roommate not to say anything about what they found on his computer. Because the roommate he was supposedly living with was a tech-savvy guy, and went into the network, noticed there was a shared folder, and which, was Stefan Stern's folder. And when opening that folder, it had terrible stuff on it. Stefan was also caught in the past, and I believe this was the same roommate. He was using a camera that spied on the roommate's girlfriend. I believe the bathroom, taking a shower, and stuff like that. So this guy is clearly a perv. Other words I would like to use, monster, more descriptive words, but hopefully he gets life without parole. Yeah, at the very least, it is a DP state, so he could get worse. Thank you so much, Dom, for the support and the $4.99. When Stephen was a teenager, apparently, like I said, these are all kind of unconfirmed, but apparently, Stefan, when Stefan was a teenager, he had stabbed another kid with a knife after a heated argument. Actually, that one may be the one that I believe the mother had paid off. I can't remember which one it was. One of those two. But, yeah, that's kind of wild. If that is true, I mean, the guy sounded pretty sincere and honest. But basically, it seems like what he was trying to relay, this friend of Stephen, that had known him for quite a long time, I think decades or something like that, hadn't seen him in a long time, but he said that he did live with him at some point, and then eventually this guy pulled a gun on his roommate. Stefan pulled a gun on this guy living with him, because the roommate refused to pay rent over some things that I can't remember. Something like they weren't fixed or something like that. Correct me in chat if I'm getting any of these details wrong. But something like that. So it seems like he has a short fuse and goes too far. Way too far. And he did mention that one thing that drove him nuts is that he liked to crack his knuckles. He said that Stefan tried to appear as the alpha male when he was in, with groups or at a party. And apparently he would do the knuckle cracking thing, which is really very interesting, considering he's doing that in the interview with the mother, and he's in the background cracking his knuckles. That was kind of wild to hear. His friend said she was on mental health meds. Are we talking about the mother, I'm assuming? Or the daughter? Not sure. I'm just checking chat here. And then, just finished the other one. Stefan did also work at Disney World. Apparently hadn't worked since, I think he mentioned September. And there's even a post that does even confirm, because there was somebody that had recently started working at Disney World and posted, I think on Reddit or something else, and mentioned, how can people work here? It's really tough, and he replies to them. So anyway, so that's a little bit of his background. So very rocky, very clearly he has a troubled past and has a short fuse and a temper, and that speaks volumes. And I would use other words, but I can't on YouTube. Let's see here. I'm missing some stuff. Carrie Summers, thank you so much for the $20 super sticker. You are so awesome. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. So moving on here, there's some more stuff. So here's some posts. Tons of Reddit posts by this guy. Okay, hold on. What is going on here? There we go. Couldn't pull up my live chat for a minute. So here's one where there's kind of a debate or something going on with parenting methods. His Reddit name is Sustanet. And here, I'll read this. I don't have to defend my parenting methods at all. We've only had to snoop once because my stepdaughter's cousin came to us, told us that she had been talking to an older girl online on Roblox. And that girl had been pressing my 10-year-old stepdaughter to send her nudes. That required an inspection of her devices by her mother and verifying whether or not it was true, and whether anyone else had approached her or anything else dangerous might be happening. Then we had a conversation with her about the dangers of doing these things, the laws against it, and how not everyone online is who they say they are. So tell me, did we handle that wrong? Do you think she hates us for it? What is your expert opinion on that situation? Oh, right, I forgot. I don't give a flying F about your opinion on this matter because you have literally, all caps, zero effing experience, and your opinion is worthless. So you can see where this guy clearly has a short fuse. And there's a lot, at least the ones that I've seen some Reddit posts, there's a few of them that he just kind of snaps. Which is pretty wild. Oh, poor Angela. I will be doing background checks on anyone I date in the future from now on. My goodness, how many cases is this in the last few weeks? I'm so confused. And that is, it's so sad. I mean, we're just coming off covering the Audrey Cunningham case, and it's almost a, sadly, carbon copy with another terrible monster who has a bad past living with the family with a young child, innocent, and they're taken advantage of, and sadly their lives are taken, and it's terrible. So here's another one. I can't read all of this, but here you can see is in the Reddit discussion, X small girls. Stay natural. 9 out of 10 men prefer natural. All the others are just lame dip shits whose opinion shouldn't matter to you anyway. So anyway, clearly, very strange to be in that, commenting on that stuff. And then here's him commenting on, or replying to somebody asking about, or talking about the work at Disney World. He says, I worked there in the attractions and did those types of distances easily 5 days a week. On my days off, I would just sit around and do as little as possible. Some nights I would come home so tired that I would just have sleep for dinner. The leg cramps at the end of the day are the real killers. And here's just kind of show how long he's been possibly grooming this poor girl. This was dated back in 2020, I believe. The finished product, my girlfriend's 9-year-old daughter planned and painted this scheme with a little bit of help from me on the helmet and small bits. She is very proud and it looks pretty darn good. And it's terrible because she looks very happy, but they built a little miniature character. It's really cool. But clearly he has been in her life for at least 4 years that we know of. She practically met him and let him move right in 2020. Interesting. Let's see, just looking at chat. And I know some people asked about the biological father. I've heard conflicting reports. I've heard one say that he was in, was like Texas or something. But yeah, I'm not sure on the biological father. Have you rented out 2 devices? Thank you so much, Michaela. Okay, we'll keep going here.
So here's another one. He's apparently into these Digimons, collecting these. I haven't had one of those since I was literally a kid. But there's a lot of him posting the Digimon and Tamagotchi. Probably butchered the name. I apologize if I did. So he's into those games, and there's a post where he says, I'm going to get a chance to screenshot it, but he mentions that he got 2 for himself, and then he got a purple one for his girlfriend's daughter. Or no, I think in that one he mentions it's a stepdaughter. So, yeah, this guy most likely, sadly, had been grooming this child for many years.
Just one day after the body of 13-year-old Maddie Soto was found, the prime suspect in her disappearance was a no-show in court today. Thanks for joining us at 5. I'm Manny Martinez. Stefan Stearns waived his first appearance before a judge this morning for the second time in just a span of a few days. He's now facing sexual battery and child pornography charges, but has not so far yet been charged in Maddie's death. Fox 35's Matt Trezza explains why more charges could be on the way.
Stephen Stearns was a no-show for his first appearance in Osceola County Court. His lawyer didn't even want the judge reading out the charges.
Stephen Stearns, or Stephens?
Your Honor, at this time, I am going to waive Mr. Stearns' appearance. I'm also going to waive the reading of these charges. Mr. Stearns is aware of what he's been arrested for.
At the first appearance, Stearns faced charges including sexual battery and possession of material depicting sexual performance by a child. Stearns had voluntarily handed his phone to investigators who managed to recover photos and videos that they called disturbing. Investigators say he's also the prime suspect in Maddie Soto's disappearance. Search teams finally recovered Maddie's body Friday evening after an exhaustive search through the woods in Osceola County. The judge said Stearns would stay behind bars.
Understood, sir. You got 0 bond and 24 CF 632. Good luck to you.
Orange County deputies have turned over the case to Kissimmee Police. Sheriff John Mina says they have proof Stearns tried to cover his tracks after Maddie's death.
We have video evidence that shows Stephen Stearns.
Okay, so we played that earlier, but I just wanted to play that. So, yeah, his latest court appearance, he didn't show up. Doesn't surprise me, considering what kind of monster he is. And, yeah, he still has not been charged for murder as of right now. That, of course, hopefully I'm sure will change. But, yeah, we still don't know. The biggest question, I mean, is what happened during that night, after her birthday? What did he do? Did he go into her bedroom and, try something and, she had enough and she was going to threaten to tell or something? And so, maybe he attacked her in her bed or something, and then was worried that maybe the mother might wake up, and so he took the body, put her in his car, and then took it somewhere, which sounds like clearly, I mean, the one thing that it seems that he had the body somewhere before 7 a.m. outside of the house, because he's throwing stuff away, and then he's not seen on the camera. Let me go back to my timeline. I can find it here. Yeah, it's just right after this. But just right back to the timeline one last time. That he's seen at the condo throwing the stuff away. So obviously she's dead. It's clearly dead at 7:35 a.m. He's throwing everything away. Or not everything, but he's throwing, her backpack. And I wonder what's in that backpack too. And then her school computer. And then at 8:19 a.m., 44 minutes later, so clearly he must have left shortly after 7:35. And then he's coming back, and now there's a body in his car. So
I don't know. Let me know in chat what you guys think. Do you think he attacked her in the bed or at the house and then moved her body out? Or did he keep the body there? I mean, it's just so weird that they mentioned that he's bringing her body back at 8:19. And the fact that the reporter asked, was she killed in the home? And he didn't answer that, or I mean, he didn't say that she was killed in the home, but said that her life was taken in Kissimmee. So very interesting, very weird. Just makes me wonder what happened and what was he doing. And then I understand what he was doing after, he's bringing the body back to make it look like she's sitting in a car with him at 8:19, and then he tells them that he took her there at 8:40, or that they got there at 8:40, and that timeline makes sense because that's kind of like 15 minutes since he'd kind of returned back with her body. And then I'm pretty sure this photo here, because it says in the probable cause that the license plate reader captured his vehicle. Now it's all redacted, but you can tell this photo is from that. And that is from the John, I forget the name of the parkway, but the parkway, which does lead to the school. But yeah, then after that, of course, he would then probably bring the body back home. And then after 1 a.m., then he takes her body, and then of course dumps it off Hickory Tree Road here, which is 16 miles away. And then that location is kind of interesting. I wonder why he chose this particular area. Did he know, since he was in real estate, had he been around this location and had spotted some areas that maybe, if this was anyway premeditated, he knew where to, or he had a spot where he was going to dispose the body. So the party was at the house. That's the one thing that I played earlier. This video is from the party. These it's just before this, I think. These pictures here are sadly the last pictures, and these are from her. Some of these are mixed, but this one here, this is from her birthday party, her 13th birthday party. So these are the last pictures of Madeline. And these, you can tell, are taken from the condos. So the birthday party was there. Just checking chat here. There's so much. I do want to say thank you guys so much for tuning in. We got 1,500 people in here. If you haven't got a chance, please hit that like button. I'm just seeing what you guys are saying here. Yeah, the mom was at work, and then she supposedly got home late, is what I understand. And then because she worked late, she went to bed. Obviously, she slept in, so Stefan was the one to take her to school. But from what they said, that's not the normal routine. She's usually dropped off at the school, and I'm assuming by the mother. The mom claims she talked to her after the party. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, the mother, the way she spoke, because, you know, she said one time that we dropped her off, and maybe it's just because under the circumstances of everything going on, maybe she's kind of not saying the right thing, you know, kind of, yeah, because it's just under the pressure and everything going on. Maybe she's kind of messing up, you know, what actually happened. And because, yeah, she did say we dropped him off, but then she does change it later on. And then, yeah, with the party, she does say that, you know, I did talk to her. She had a great time. And it does make it sound like she was there in person. But then she does, at the end of that, I think at that that same sentence or the question that she's answering, she does say that that she was at work. So maybe, I don't know, maybe she was talking with her on the phone. Teresa Jose, thank you so much for becoming a member and supporting this channel. And Casey Ann, thank you so much for the $10 super sticker. You are so sweet. Thank you so, so much. Mind of Monsters, when we drove from the condo to Old Hickory Tree. We took the turnpike. It was about 15-minute drive, but we drove around, and there was a back road back there. There was a back road back there, secluded area. And that's in the old... Let's see, I gotta find where Nolte Road is. Okay, so that's an Nolte Road. So she was dumped... Okay, yeah, there's... Oh, I'm on the road. I'm on the wrong road. That's why I couldn't find it. There it is. So, yeah, she was dumped right here. And I noticed, but this is taken from 2022. But I did kind of notice that they had these, like, new development homes going up, which look like... But that is... I mean, that's December 2022, so... That's just a little over a year since they were there, but that's kind of interesting that there's like new development homes there. Did he, you know, maybe back in real estate know about this development or something like that, and so had been down this area and maybe knew? I mean, this looks abandoned to me. Then you have what looks to be like an active area over here. But this area here is definitely looks clearly abandoned. And then if you go back in there, it's definitely wooded. Is there a back road in this? Old Trickery Road. There is a road. Oh, there's a road that goes back in there. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so that's where they found her body, though, is somewhere in this area right here. Very tragic. Oh, sorry, I've had that comment up. CJK, can Chris look for the local news article posted 2 hours ago? All right, let's see. Local news posted 2 hours ago. Is there anything new? Let me turn this down real quick, guys. Oh. Oh, is it this?
Osceola Sheriff accidentally posted possible crime scene photo of Madeline Soto. The Instagram account for the Osceola County Sheriff Marcos posted a confidential crime scene photograph, which the agency later said inadvertently shared with the public. The sheriff's office has not disclosed whether Lopez himself or the other agency employee posted the photo. Okay, it said the photo depicted the 13-year-old Madeline Soto, who was found dead Friday afternoon in a wooded area near St. Cloud. Oh. So this wasn't a picture of her, like, in the car. This is a picture where they found her. The clothes seen in the photo are consistent with the outfit Soto was believed to be wearing when she was reported missing. Interesting. Very interesting. So I wonder, did she go to bed in those clothes? Did she get up early? Did he, like, wake her up? And I don't know, so many scenarios. It's weird. Oh no, a caption below the photograph stated, "Great day with our seniors." Oh no. Followed by emoji of smiley face. Oh dear. So clearly it was an accident. We deeply apologize for the confusion. Huh. Okay, it says, we're deeply disturbed. These photos were carelessly made public. I'll bet as an accident, according to the statement. While I do not believe these photos will have any evidentiary impact on the case as of now, they were released in poor taste. Yeah, that's a big whoopsie. Huh. Interesting. I don't know if that was the one that you wanted me to look up. Is there anything else? Let's see here. Madeline Soto's death sparks Orange County parents plea for absence alert policy changes. Oh! Yeah, I mean, they were talking about that in the Audrey Cunningham case, where, you know, when it comes to them, when these teenagers don't show up for school, I'm assuming this is, yeah, absence alert policy. Because what, you guys get like a robocall, or, you know, if you have teenagers or any kids in school, if they don't show up, they get like, is it supposed to be like a robocall? And yeah, there should be a better system in place. I'm sure they could do this, and hopefully maybe in honor of her. Although yeah, I was going to say something about the other case, but up to 10 hours from drop-off to the 5 p.m. notification call, those 10 hours could be very impactful in finding the person. Yeah, huge. I mean, every hour, we know 42 hours. Or 48 hours, sorry. Well, when it comes to a kid, they say like 3 hours. Or I forget what it is. Steve told me when it comes to a child, it's much, much less, obviously. Sadly. Notify parents promptly in the morning of student absences to avoid a scenario where a student is absent without the parent's knowledge for 10 hours, like in the case of Madeline Soto. Every minute counts when a child is missing, yeah. In the early days after Madeline Soto was last seen, her mom, Jennifer Soto, told
Fox 35 that she reached out to the middle school Monday afternoon when she couldn't find her daughter after school. And there's that. I emailed one of the teachers that confirmed that she was absent all day. At one point is when I called 911 because I realized something was truly wrong. So the one thing I know some people are really angry at the mom is that she didn't call until 8 p.m. Now that school starts a little later than I thought it would, 9:30 a.m. Usually you get out of school at like, what, 3:30 p.m.? Something around that, 3:30, 4. So, yeah, there is kind of a gap, you know, about 4 hours, 4 hours until she called 911. You know, maybe she thought she just, I mean, I can kind of understand at a point, maybe she thought, you know, maybe she skipped school and, you know, ran off with a friend. And so she's probably calling all the friends first. Anybody that Madeline knows or that she had stayed with. And then she called 911. But I still understand people, a lot of people are upset. Oh, it says right here, they release at 4 p.m. Parents of younger students report getting automated calls before 11 a.m. Parents with younger students will hear about an absence before noon, while high school parents will get a notification starting at 5 p.m. And these are all the different counties in Florida. So, yeah, every school is different. Or not every school, but every county is different, something like that. So, yeah, it definitely seems like they could use this, especially after Audrey and Madeline. It's the same thing. The parents didn't know that they were missing until well after school is out. So, yeah, hopefully this could be used, and her death is not in vain. Where was Stefan at 7:30 when the mother called him to take Madeline? I don't know if she called him. From what I understand, she was asleep. She slept in because she kind of works late nights. So, I don't know if she called Stefan at all in the morning. Where was the mom during the murder? Did she leave for work? She was at work, worked late. I'm not sure exactly what time she got home, and then slept in from what I understand. Okay, so her birthday party was at her grandmother's house because her mom had to work and was not there. The creep was there, though. Interesting. Those photos are taken from that condo complex. Does the grandmother live in the same condos, I wonder? Because, I mean, those pictures are from the condo. Unless there was like a birthday party earlier that Sunday and then she went home after that. And then that's where those pictures came from, maybe? But thank you, Jules, for sharing that. I did see that. So maybe there was a birthday party at the grandmother's house, and then because those pictures are definitely from the condo, because you can see the huge pond behind her. Oops, God, they go so fast. So yeah, most of these photos that I can see, but yeah, it looks like some of these photos, maybe that's her grandmother's house there. That could be the grandmother's home there. I'll have to look into that. Like I said, there's still so many unanswered questions. And let's see. What's up, AC? Good to see you. Just looking at some comments. Anyway, I think we're going to finish up here, but anyway, I do appreciate everybody watching the live. We kind of went over the interview. We went over his past, which sounds like this guy is a creep. He has a problem. He is a monster. I have to be careful of the words I use. It's so hard. And it sounds like he's had this problem for a long time. And then sadly, he's been in this poor girl's life for at least 4 years. And probably groomed her. And yeah, it's just a terrible tragedy. But as soon as there is more information, you know, obviously, maybe, I don't know if we'll get, you know, in the Audrey Cunningham case, we heard there was a little bit of silence, and then there was like a day or two after we heard that she suffered blunt force trauma. And this is Audrey Cunningham, not Madeline Soto. Because after they recovered the body, it would go to the ME, and then they would find out, you know, what happened to it. So obviously, I'm assuming we'll find out some details. Who knows how much? I think Florida's a little bit more open when it comes to this stuff, but I don't know for sure. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Demean. Thank you so much, everyone. And a huge shout out to my wonderful mods for doing a wonderful job. And again, like I said, once there's some more updates in this case, we will do either I'll do a video or a live, just kind of depending on what's out there. We are been covering the Elijah Vu case, and so that show will be coming up, and then also this girl Kaylana Turner, we're going to be probably doing her case here close to her anniversary of her 1 year being missing. I'm going to reach out to the family because apparently there's a lot more to this story, and so we would definitely want to hear from them and let them, you know, share anything that may that the public could help keep an eye out for, because that's kind of what we're here for, is, you know, any missing people. Like I said, we're missing advocates. So, all right, guys, I am going to head out. Thank you guys so much again for tuning in, and we will be back on Wednesday at same time, 7 p.m. Eastern. So, thank you guys again. Okay, awesome. All right, guys, have a wonderful night or day or morning, depending on where you're at, and we will see you guys Wednesday.